Coming up next, right now Hurricane Helene is ravaging the southeast with torrential rain and wind as it moves inland. Will we see any effects?
Plus, frustration and now solutions over public bus cuts in Center County.
For me, the bus is part of Lamont, and it gets people to Lamont, not just to State College.
And school spirit is high as Penn State celebrates homecoming weekend. The Center County Report starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Dylan Price.
And I'm Haley Jacobs. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. We begin with breaking news. More than 3 million homes are without power across the southeast right now. That's after Hurricane Helene weakened today to a tropical storm. It made landfall last night in Florida as a Category 4 storm. Serious flooding is happening across several states, and there's a lot of wind damage. Up to 10 inches of rain has already fallen in North Carolina. One person died in Florida when a sign fell on their car. A tornado killed 2 people in Georgia, and 1 died in North Carolina. Student meteorologist Sean Romeo is here with more on the storm track and possible impact here. Sean?
Hurricane Helene barreled ashore last night as a Category 4 hurricane in the Big Bend area of southeastern Florida. Now, that storm moved its way through Georgia overnight into western parts of the Carolinas and is now working its way, sort of being absorbed into a second low pressure system, which is over Tennessee and moving its way, sort of spinning around in the Ohio Valley, for lack of a better term. Here in Pennsylvania directly, you can sort of see this outer band, which has moved its way sort of to along the Pennsylvania Turnpike is the best way I can put it. And that is going to work its way slightly north, but it really won't affect State College directly. It'll be maybe some light showers that'll find its way throughout the day, and that'll affect kind of the homecoming parade a bit more tonight. I'll get into that as we get further into the weather. Now, going forward, though, the storm will sort of, as I mentioned, spin around in the Ohio Valley, not really going anywhere for a day or two before we get to Tuesday, when it'll start to begin to clear itself out and head towards the East Coast. Now, that goes forward and through Wednesday. Finally, we're back in the clear after this week and a half of sort of this rainy, ugly weather that we've had. So I'm going to send it back over to Dylan with some more breaking news and more on the weather later.
Thanks, Sean. More breaking news right now. Escalation in the Middle East. Nearly 700 people have been killed in Lebanon this week in Israeli airstrikes, according to Lebanon's health ministry. Israel has dramatically increased its attacks against Hezbollah. Dozens of rockets have also been fired from Lebanon into Israel. Most of them were intercepted. At the UN today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel is, quote, fighting for its life. He promises to strike Hezbollah with full force and not stop until its goals are achieved. The U.S., France, and other allies are calling for a 21-day ceasefire.
With the U.S. presidential election less than 6 weeks away, the candidates are making a major push for votes in Pennsylvania. Alina Surace reports.
Thank you very much, Pennsylvania. Thank you. Thank you.
Donald Trump's rally this week in Indiana County was just one of many recent visits by both presidential candidates to key swing state Pennsylvania. One poll shows Kamala Harris leading by just 1% here. Penn State College of Democrats President Baybars Charkis says President Biden won the state by just 80,000 votes.
You could fit that many people in Beaver Stadium and have room to spare. Those are the margins that we're talking about.
Trump will return to Butler next week for a rally at the same site where he was shot over the summer.
Those candidates are showing us how important the election is because they are campaigning a lot. And they're here in Pennsylvania talking about the issues that matter to them.
No Democrat has won the White House without Pennsylvania since 1948.
Pennsylvania holds 19 electoral college votes, which is the most out of any other swing state. So whoever wins Pennsylvania has a higher chance of winning this election.
If Pennsylvania goes red, the most likely thing would be that Michigan, Wisconsin also go red. So that would also carry an additional 25 electoral votes along with the 19 that Pennsylvania has.
In recent elections, winning Pennsylvania came down to less than 1.5%.
If either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump want to win, the road to victory almost certainly has to go through Pennsylvania.
In State College, I'm Alina Surace for the Center County Report.
Center County Report will bring you live coverage of the election on November 5th.
As the election draws closer, voter tension continues to increase, even in Center County. In State College on South Garner Street, neighbors say someone stole Harris Wall's yard signs from 12 houses. The local campaign office says it believes this was part of a coordinated effort across 4 neighborhoods. Penn State professor Matt McAllister was one of the victims.
So to have somebody step on your property and then take your property, and then that property also is a political expression, it, is a little shocking. It feel a little bit violated and a little bit suppressed.
The theft was reported to police, and a neighbor provided replacement signs for everyone.
Penn State recently removed, then eventually returned newsstands and physical copies of student-run newspapers. The move sparked a campus controversy. Evan Halfin explains what happened and why.
It's a move that sparked controversy on campus. Dozens of daily collegiate newsstands and newspapers were moved from their indoor locations at Penn State.
We all love the newspaper that we make. We, take pride in it, regardless if you're on the business division or the news division. And to kind of see it get confiscated in such a way, it hurts a little bit.
The university made the move last week, saying ads on the student newspaper stands violate Penn State policy. The Collegian argues it's a potential infringement on free speech.
It was definitely discouraging to a lot of our student journalists because they work so hard to produce a really quality paper every week and put so much time and effort into student journalism. So we definitely felt like we were being undervalued by the fact that we weren't communicated with.
Penn State journalism professor Russell Frank also questioned the university's actions.
Why weren't collegiate people given the opportunity to remove the posters themselves? Why did the entire rack and all the newspapers have to go away?
Penn State referred us to a statement that read, "The university is not challenging the Collegian's distribution of newspapers on the racks or otherwise. It is prohibiting the sale by the Collegian of advertising space on university premises that is occurring outside the actual publication of its newspaper." But the university would not answer any of our specific questions. The Collegian says no one notified them of the removal. It does acknowledge conversations did happen between university officials and Collegian leadership about the ads and potential policy violations. This is one of the many newsstands that was taken, and the last returned on Friday at 8 p.m. As you can see here, there's nowhere for ads to be placed, so the question that remains is, why was it taken in the first place with the other 35 stands? The newsstands were returned several days later, without the ads. The Collegian's latest issue says they're not going anywhere. In University Park, I'm Evan Halfin for the Center County Report.
The Daily Collegian says it's still waiting for a response from university representatives about the removals.
Construction is now underway on a $259 million road project in Center County. Jacksonville Road near Bellefonte will be closed for 6 years to complete the work connecting I-99 to Interstate 80. A detour takes drivers to North Wilson Street, then to Route 550 and East Bishop Street to Interstate 99.
The overall goal of the project is to reduce congestion and to provide like a safer, more direct route from I-80 to I-99 for the traveling public.
PennDOT says it's keeping 4 lanes of traffic open and putting in temporary roads to reduce the impact on traffic.
Another transportation topic has been causing frustration in Lamont near State College. Reporter Conrad Frisch tells you about CATA bus schedule and route changes that disrupted the daily commute for some residents.
Just outside State College sits the picturesque village of Lamont. It's quiet here and can feel a world away from the busyness of Penn State's campus less than 2 miles away. It's a popular place for university, faculty, staff, and students to live.
We have some shops and some restaurants that I've seen kids get off the bus and go to.
For many who live here, the bus is essential to their commute to and from school or work.
For me, like the bus is part of Lamont. It gets people to Lamont, not just to State College, and I think it's a big part of it.
So, when CATA initially announced in July it was planning to cut back on service to Lamont, many residents were surprised and frustrated. Some took to social media, including Facebook, to voice their concerns. And it's not just residents dealing with the issue. Businesses in the historic district also started to feel the effects. And people working here had a tougher time getting to and from Lamont.
Even one of our baristas would come in on the bus. So the nearest bus stop for her then was over by Hickey's, and then it's a mile hike to get here.
Facing backlash on social media and written complaints, CATA took notice and now says it's committed to finding solutions.
So the CC College Connector has a frequency of 54 minutes running Monday through Friday, and we actually have additional late night service.
Along with adding the College Connector line back in, CATA is now offering a new service to help residents in Lamont get around easier.
CATA Go is a microtransit on-demand service from Monday to Friday, and it's actually 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. as well. And this is a curb-to-curb service.
Residents hope their vocal feedback and changes by CATA will help fix the situation. In Lamont, I'm Conrad Frisch for the Center County Report.
For more information on CATA's schedules and services, check their website, catabus.com.
Still to come, more on our weekend weather as we check the 7-day forecast.
And new life for an old fraternity house in State College. Also coming up, events are underway at Penn State as homecoming weekend arrives. We'll show you what's going on.
State College police now say they've identified a driver in a suspected hit and run. Police say this black Jeep hit a pedestrian at Beaver Avenue and Locust Lane last Thursday. They say the driver was a white, college-aged female with blonde hair, and the Jeep had a KD sticker on it. They have not released the driver's name.
A former fraternity house owned by the Borough of State College could be getting a new tenant. Ethan Ellis has the story.
From fraternity to charity. This is the former Alpha Chi Sigma house in downtown State College. The borough bought it from the fraternity 3 years ago for housing and human services. Now, while this house has sat abandoned here on Pugh Street for the past few years, the Borough of State College has some big plans for it. It's going to be renovated as the future home for Center Helps, a nonprofit that provides services from housing assistance to suicide prevention. Executive Director Denise McCann says the project will allow them to expand their suicide hotline.
The new facility will allow us to have a hotline room that has the proper technology and workspace.
The call center is just one of the benefits of moving into the house. Another possibility, a community kitchen.
Maybe a church would want to do a meal for anybody, and we could host that.
One of the next steps is getting a nearly $2 million loan approved to renovate the house. The money would come from the borough's cash reserves.
On October 7th, the RDA will ask the board, the council, to approve the loan. So we're really hopeful that they will approve the loan then.
In State College, I'm Ethan Ellis for the Center County Report.
Center Helps hopes to be fully moved into the new space in February of next year.
Another dreary, dull day here in State College, as you can sort of see outside at the Arboretum, 64 degrees. It's sort of that ugly weather we've seen kind of all week, to tell you the truth. It hasn't really been a nice week at all here in State College. The drizzle and the rain kind of kept their temperatures pretty low and our conditions pretty uncomfortable. Looking across the region in terms of the radar, you can see this outer band of the remnants of Hurricane Helene, which has sort of worked its way into central Pennsylvania. It's slowly but surely working its way northward. It'll provide some showers here in central Pennsylvania, but it'll start to fall apart as it goes forward and comes further north. So State College, you'll see a little bit of showers. The heaviest will be right along the southern tier here / the Pennsylvania Turnpike. That'll be where the biggest issues will be. Looking forward to this afternoon, sort of getting up to the upper 60s. You know, it's not going to be super warm, but again, this dreary drizzle continues throughout the entire afternoon into the evening with the homecoming parade. As for the parade itself, again, as I mentioned, dreary, dull, and drizzly. Sprinkles, really, is what I put it here. But it'll sort of be this uncomfortable sort of wet you to the bone type of rain, which really kind of stinks. So, I mean, you'll be out there, just have something to cover yourself with for the rain while you're hanging out outside of the homecoming parade tonight. Across the entire region, State College itself, about 63. Always stays a little warmer down here in Harrisburg, and always your cold spot in Bradford, similar to State College. Some showers around, you know, just sort of on, off. Not really anything heavy, but enough to be annoying. As for the whiteout energy, as Coach Franklin calls it tomorrow, 63 degrees at kickoff time, probably a couple sprinkles here there, but maybe if you get your jacket on, you should be okay. Maybe by the end of the game, you won't have to worry too much about weather. Going forward, you get some showers sprinkling through overnight, as I mentioned tonight, towards the end of the homecoming parade. Overnight, those will move through. Tomorrow, as you're out tailgating in the middle of the afternoon, a couple of sprinkles, again, possibly dull and dreary, but clouds and overcast. 6:45 tomorrow, right around kickoff time. Maybe you start to get some breaks later, but by the next morning is when things get really interesting with some heavier rain moving into the area. Maybe if you're driving home early tomorrow morning, this will be something to worry about. As for our 7-day outlook, it gets that dreary, dull weather, continues into early next week, and then as we move forward into maybe Wednesday, Thursday timeframe, the sun starts to come back out, which I'm sure everyone is looking forward to.
That is music to my ears. I am so over the rain this week.
So am I, Haley.
I know they're calling for wet out energy. We just need dry energy at this point.
You called it, man.
Sean, thank you. Now let's send it on over to Josh with sports.
After the break in sports, whiteout energy? A preview of the big top 20 football matchup between Penn State and Illinois this weekend. Plus, hockey returns to Happy Valley, from the women's opening game to men's hockey media day. I'm Josh Bartosik with sports. After a dominant win over Kent State last week, Penn State is looking for whiteout energy against Illinois for homecoming. Let's sling it over to our reporter Ryan Esslinger, who is live on campus with our preview. Ryan?
Thanks, Josh. I'm here in front of Beaver Stadium as we are 1 day away from Penn State's Big Ten opener. It's against Illinois. They're a hungry and unbeaten team. They're looking to knock off their third-ranked opponent this season.
After a dominating shutout win against Kent State, Penn State now faces unbeaten Illinois. The Nittany Lions feel like they have unfinished business against the Illini. The last time they met in State College, Illinois pulled out a win in the 9th overtime. But Penn State tight end Khalil Dinkins says he's looking forward.
That's kind of just in the past, so we're just going to leave it there. But we're just harping on just making sure we're on our P's and Q's. This is a Big Ten opponent, and we know we're going to play hard.
Coach James Franklin is calling for an unofficial whiteout this weekend with a primetime game on national television. Wide receiver Liam Clifford says the buzzword this week is whiteout energy.
When I think of the whiteout, I think of energy. I think of a high you can't recreate. You run out of that tunnel, it's something that you can't really even explain.
Illinois is coming off an impressive overtime win against Nebraska. If Penn State wants to avoid trouble, it's going to have to stop the Illini's junior quarterback, Luke Altmaier. He's having the best start of his career, almost surpassing his passing touchdown total from last year in just the first 4 games.
Although Altmaier is having a great start to his season, he's going to have to deal with the 107,000 fans and that whiteout noise level. Students and fans alike are going to be wearing white shirts, kind of like this, making sure that they're bringing the whiteout energy to Beaver Stadium on Saturday. Students will also be given these white shakers to help disorient the Fighting Illini. Live at Beaver Stadium, I'm Ryan Esslinger. Josh, back to you.
Thanks, Ryan. Now to high school football. 3-2 Central Dauphin will travel to 4-1 State College at Memorial Field tonight for our game of the week. The Little Lions return home for the first time in 4 weeks. Looking to some other District 6 games we're covering this week, 3-2 Bellefonte takes on 3-2 Bald Eagle, while 2-3 Tyrone looks to play spoiler against unbeaten Bishop Guilfoyle. You can catch all the highlights on After the Whistle at 11:30 tonight on our YouTube channel. Penn State women's hockey was back on the ice last night against Northeastern in their season opener. Before puck drop, the Nittany Lions revealed banners to celebrate their CHA tournament championship and their NCAA tournament appearance. Caitlin Roberts netted the first goal of the season for the blue and white, but Northeastern came away with the 3-1 win. They'll be back in action this afternoon against Northeastern. It's also a new season for Penn State men's hockey, which held its preseason media day this week. Anthony Descher has that story.
There was a buzz in the air at Pagula Ice Arena this week. The press room packed for preseason media day. Coach Guy Godowski said the goal is taking the next step.
Not to surprise anybody. I mean, the only 2 things left we have to do are go to the Frozen Four and win the national championship. So the expectations are to improve, to become more Penn State as we were in the past, and to have success doing it.
The big news of the day was the new leadership group. Defenseman Simon Mack was named captain, while Jimmy Dow Jr. and Carson Dick were named alternate captains.
They love Penn State, every one of them, so I think they're great representatives.
Committed here when I was on my 16th birthday. Ended up coming here for 5 years later, but this is my home. It's my second home, and I'm just so grateful that I had the opportunity to come back and wear the Penn State crest for another year.
The team then hit the ice for practice.
The weather is getting cooler and the leaves are changing colors. That must mean one thing: hockey is back in Happy Valley. A new season brings new expectations, and the players on this roster are ready to tackle those expectations right out of the gate.
The Nittany Lions open the season on the road against Alaska Fairbanks next weekend. I'm Anthony Descher for the Center County Report.
Yeah, going to be a late night series next week against Alaska. So guys, please make sure you got your coffee ready for that one.
And what is it, like a 10-hour flight? That is brutal.
Yeah, not going to be a fun one, Dylan. I would not personally want to be on that plane.
No, I don't like a flight like that. But anyways, back to Penn State. It is homecoming weekend. We'll take a look at all the festivities taking over campus and downtown.
It's homecoming week at Penn State, and that means lots of events and festivities as thousands of alumni make the trip back to State College. Jordan Spagnoli takes a look.
Penn State's homecoming tradition first started in 1920, making this the 104th year. Events began earlier in the week with the Rally and Roar celebration, and activities continue through the Saturday football game.
My favorite part about homecoming is the football tailgates, just because the amount of people that are there and the energy and the excitement just makes me so happy and so grateful.
Some popular events include the Allen Street Jam, bringing music, food, and fun to downtown State College, and the Homecoming Carnival with live music and treats. But these traditions are about more than freebies and food. They're about the community coming together.
Like seeing everyone take time out of their day to really build community, be part of all the different events, show support for us and the rest of the student corps, which is great.
One of the favorite events is the Homecoming Parade tonight at 6 p.m. It'll begin at Curtin Road and move its way through campus and downtown. Some roads will be closed for the parade, including parts of College Avenue and roads on campus. In University Park, I'm Jordan Spagnoli for the Center County Report.
The theme for homecoming this year is "In Every Roar, Tradition Soars." Should be a lot of fun, Haley.
Oh, I cannot wait for the parade tonight, but that's all for today's newscast. We hope you'll join us Tuesday for our next local news update.
And you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Center County Report X. And you can see our stories on our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and our website. Have a good afternoon.